Alright guys, so today finally the Tacoma gets some upgrades. So today I got a bunch of lighting upgrades for this car. I believe some interior lights, some reverse lights, but the biggest thing is we're going to be putting some nice fog lights in there. So I just got a couple. So these are some brackets for the fog lights. So these are the fog lights themselves. They're aux beam. So if you guys are interested in picking up your own, I'll be leaving links down below for all this. But they make some awesome upgrades for the Tacoma. So these are going to be the fog lights I'm going to be installing. I've always liked the look of those like Rigid Industries. I know makes them like OEM ones, or like ones that come with the truck, but they're really expensive. So aux beam has a lot cheaper version of it that is plug and play. So let's start with all the little lights first, because those will be very easy to put in, and then we'll finish off with the fog lights. Okay, so these are going to be the reverse lights. They have some awesome reverse lights that are like way brighter than like normal ones. So these are actually like a big bulb that plugs into the other thing. So right now I believe one is actually out on the Tacoma. So let's go take a look at those right now. These should be pretty simple on the Tacoma. Pop out the old one right here. So then instead of plugging this in, this actually plugs in, and it's a little rubber harness, so that way it's kind of more like a universal thing. So and when you do this, you only have to take off the top screw here and then the bottom screw. So you can just see how much brighter these are. And then this one's the one that's not even working. Let me put the incandescent one back in there, and then we can just do a comparison real quick. But I cannot believe how much brighter that is. So looking at them, you can see the LED aux beam one right there, and then the incandescent one right there. Definitely gonna be able to see a lot better, definitely at night when you're backing up. So definitely a good upgrade on these. Alright, so the next set of lights I got to put on here, I believe these are the T10s, which honestly will go into pretty much like every internal light, as well as these. I'm not exactly sure how they come out, but we'll find a way. And then I should have one for that one as well in the back. So these ones we're probably going to want to get a plastic trim tool. These are going to pop off simple with the plastic trim tool. I think, okay, there is a little hinge, and then those just snap around it. So let's pull out that little bulb. Just grab a roll of duct tape, hopefully you have some, and then kind of put the tape around the bulb, smash it up against it, and then just give it a yank. And that's what I did, and I got the bulb out, because there's really no way to get your fingers up in there. There's the one on, it looks very clean and a lot brighter than the incandescent. But let me put this on so it diffuses the light the same way. Okay, so there's the nice LED one, and then the incandescent. You can see how much brighter this one is. It puts a glare on the camera looking at that one. So let me replace this one real quick, and then that'll be nice for those to be LED. Alright, so after trying to pop these off, they're actually pretty simple to pop off, as long as you have like a little pick, because I just went from underneath here and popped it off, and then it came out. But after looking at it, it takes like a fuse type of bulb, which I was not expecting. So I do not have any of those. I thought it was going to take these, but I guess you shouldn't assume. And then I had one of these ones, which I think are for that one up there, but that's way too big to fit inside of there. So alright, so I got this popped off. I literally just pried from the back right here, and then it flung off. So now this looks like the same exact replacement, so let me pop that one out. This bulb is super bright. Let's slap this thing back on. Alright, and now this light and those lights are replaced. Alright, so let's take a look at these fog lights now. These, I believe these are universal, but then you can get them to be plug and play for certain vehicles. So this comes with special brackets and the special mounts for them, as well as the plug for the OEM harness on the fog lights. So this comes, like I said, this is a universal kit. We are not going to use this, but this is if you wanted to wire this up without the factory plugs. And then it also gives you some orange covers if you want to change them out from the clear ones, which I believe I might do that. Alright, so we'll see if we can get access to the fog lights without having to take the bumper off, which I would imagine we can. There's going to be a few 10mm bolts we're going to want to take off so we can get behind the splash guard. It does seem like we have enough. We can get access to the fog light here, but I honestly think it might be easier just to take the whole bumper off. Just so that way you can get all the brackets and everything aligned where you need to, rather than trying to do everything blind. So I'm going to take the bumper off real quick, and then we'll get a good look behind what the fog lights are. So I got the bumper off. This has to probably be one of the worst bumpers I've had to take off. Like, you have to take the grill off first, and then get access to a bunch of other clips and screws, and then you have to pop off the fender flares just a little bit, so that way you can get the bumper off of it. So, but finally, I hope I didn't break it, because like this side, the whole part from the part came off of the car, while this side, it stayed on the car. So I don't know, but hopefully this will snap back on perfectly fine with no problems. But that did come off on this side, so not sure why. But now we have good access to the actual fog lights themselves. So there's just going to be one screw here, and then just the plug right here. So the plug. Oh, and also too, if you take your bumper off, there's going to be a separate plug right here if you have OEM fog lights. So now we'll take out the one screw. It's a Phillips, and then we should be able to mount up our other ones. Alright, so I just took these off, and obviously you can tell these have a bunch of brackets on and everything to mount to the bumper, and these do not. So it comes with, like I said, the plug and play harness, as well as some hardware. So this hardware is going to mimic something like this. So I'm not exactly sure. They don't really give you any instructions on how to do this, but I'd imagine you're just going to take out the screws on each side, mount these however we need to, so that way it'll line up with those notches, and then we can mount them back onto the bumper. So let's try to figure out how to mount this. Alright, so I was having a problem getting these fog lights to work for these aux beam ones right here, and finally, like, I was trying to communicate with the company and everything, and nothing was working. They sent me out new harnesses and stuff, and those still weren't working, Because my biggest problem was when I would connect these straight to the battery, they would work. But when I would connect them to the fog light, they would not work. And finally, after a bunch of time, so my biggest problem I found was these harnesses. So if you pull back this heat shield and you pull on this plug, these plugs were put on 180 degrees on the opposite way. So you would have to, because there's a little notch cut out right there that will only allow this to plug in one way on the fog light harness. So you'd have to take this, rotate it 180 degrees, and then press those pins back in there. And then you can just slide your heat shield right over, and then you would never know what happened. But that was the problem, is I assume when these got assembled that they were putting these plugs on backwards. So if you ever buy one of these, just if it doesn't work, you might have to do that. So, but that's not the first time I read it, and that's where I found out that was the biggest problem. So now that we know why these fog lights did not work, we can actually throw them on the car. So, and also too, I know when I first started this video, I also installed some new headlights. So if you guys are interested in those, I'll put a link down below to those headlights as well. Those are from Form Lighting. But let's slap these fog lights. Look at how bright these fog lights are. So these things look amazing on this truck. So one thing that I'm not a big fan of is the chrome on the truck. So that's definitely going to be coming off pretty soon, because it just, I don't know, it just throws everything off having that shiny bit of chrome on here. So soon I will get all that blacked out. I don't know if I could just buy different bezels for this truck, or if I just have to paint those. I'm not sure how the limited bumpers are slightly different from the TRD off-roads and stuff like that, but I don't know if they're interchangeable exactly. So, but yeah, these lights are really bright. One thing that I see a lot of people do with these kind of lights is they never get this to match up properly. So make sure when you put this faceplate on here that it's orientated right, so that way when you do sit it flush, it's not going to be perfect, but it definitely looks a lot nicer than when some people will have like a half-inch gap in between there, so it looks like it doesn't really fit properly. So, but yeah, these things look really good. They are super bright. So can't wait to actually try these out at night and see how well they work. Again, these are also not street legal. These are only off-road use only, so I would not drive with these on, because just the angle, they don't have any cutoff point, so they are just shining directly like into people's windshields and stuff like that. So, but definitely with those Form Lighting headlights and those and the aux beam fog lights, this truck is like coming together really nice. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.